Hi, and welcome to Realtor Real Talk. I'm Christina Palmer.
And I'm Celeste Huss with Parker Real Estate in Logan, Utah.
Today we have a special guest, and I'm so excited, and we'll be talking about the cost associated with purchasing a home.
Yes. So we have Russ Piggott here. He started his mortgage career in 1978 as a senior in high school, and 42 years later, he still loves his job. Russ feels that the most important part of his job is to educate his borrowers so that they can make informed decisions about such an important purchase. Russ is a vice president and branch manager at the Logan City Center branch with Bank of Utah. If you have any questions, contact him for an appointment. He is great.
He's awesome. Russ, we are honored to have you on our show today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I always enjoy being with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So we just want to help buyers understand the costs associated with a loan. And for one, that none of that has to be a scary topic. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience and what you see and what buyers should expect through the process?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the costs associated with a real estate transaction do not have to be scary. I mean, it's important to know that there always will be costs. There is so many different types of costs. There is insurance costs and mortgage insurance and title insurance and all these different things that people get intimidated by. But they don't have to be scary. And so that's the one thing I hope people take away from our discussion today is that closing costs are a part of any real estate transaction. Now, how you address those can be done in several different ways. The closing costs are part of a transaction, and they can be brought in cash. They can be built into the price of the home and paid by the seller. You once again can finance them by means of taking out a loan against a vehicle or your 401k to pay for those things. But the benefit of paying what few closing costs there are in an effort to get into a house is well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So as far as the costs involved, certainly, I mean, right now we're in the end of 2020 and the market is very hot, multiple offers on properties.
That's the thing you want people to take away. Don't let the costs associated with what you think are the costs scare you away from buying a home.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many ways to get around the cost. Once again, you can factor them into the loan. You can ask the seller to pay for them. You can increase the interest rate to have the lender pay for them. Costs do not have to be something that's going to prohibit you from buying a house. The advantage is when rates are this low, you need to figure out a way to buy a house. Don't let the cost stand in your way. Like we talked on the earlier segment, you know, for you to be able to borrow $5,000 against a car that you own to pay for your closing costs, you're actually not financing the closing costs, you're actually buying a house. And that's what people have to understand is the purchase of a house is probably the best investment you can make. You know, having done homes or loans in this valley for 42 years, I can guarantee you that most of the people that have bought homes are much, much wealthier and have much more equity in their home than if they'd have rented all these years. So the key is to take advantage of the low rates and figure out what options you have to be able to get into the home. Don't think that there aren't costs, because you will hear lenders say, oh, we have a no-cost loan. Well,
yeah,
yes,
there is.
do.
You might not see it, or it's on the back, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like every purchase you make, there's a cost associated with it. But there's ways to minimize the costs. There's ways to roll them into the financing. There's ways to have the seller pay for them. The costs just need to be addressed for the circumstances that you're trying to buy. You know,
I like that.
and that's what it's so amazing. I get people coming in all the time that have got preconceived ideas. Oh, you know, I can't come up with money for down and closing costs. Well,
let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
There might be a way that you don't have to come up with a down payment, but you might need to come up with closing costs,
but
or vice versa.
They're held up on that closing cost.
They've been told by a parent or something, oh,
closing
you need
costs
to have
and these
20%.
fees and this.
You've got all these fees. It's going to be expensive, you know. The thing that people have to understand is that for every $1,000 that you finance into your loan, it changes your payment $4.50.
Wow.
For every $10,000, it changes your payment $45. And so if there's a way to be able to finance those costs into the transaction,
Minimal.
It's a minimal expense, you know, and just there's so many benefits to home ownership. You know, as you guys well know, if you bought a house a year ago for $250,000, it's probably close to $300,000 now in just 1 year.
You can't save money that fast.
No, to pay for a down payment. So be creative and figure out how to
exactly
get into
that
a home.
$5,000
Get on that
that
path.
you borrowed against your car, or that you borrowed from parents, or that you borrowed against your 401k has now been rewarded 10 times over.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you very much, Russ. We appreciate you sharing your insights with us, and we hope that the viewers enjoy that.
Such great information too. So thank you.
thank you.
Give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
And if you have any questions or video topics you'd like us to cover in the future, please leave them in the comments below. See you at our next open house.
Bye.
Bye-bye.